name is Jessie and welcome back to my channel. Okay, so I am doing a music video review of Rihanna for her music video titled American Oxygen, okay? And it's literally like a series. And today's episode, the title is Black Star. Okay, so just to give context to this video, what is a black star? What is black and what is a star? Okay, so in that context, we are talking about black, the kingdom of darkness, okay? When in Genesis, God said that the earth was void without form and darkness was upon the face of the pit. And then star, we are not talking about like the star in heaven, okay? We're not talking about the star when Jesus was born, the star that the Trois Mages followed. No. We are talking about the fallen star, okay? We're talking about Lucifer, Satan, okay? Who was cast out from heaven, okay? The fallen stars that you see in the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Okay, another element that I would like to bring in this video is the pentagon, okay? So the pentagon, okay, so when you shaped a star, 5 stars, so okay, the head, the 2 arms, and then the legs. Well, if you contour around the star, you get a pentagon, okay? And the pentagon is an army base in the desert. We don't know exactly where, but it's in the desert. And they're responsible for all the satellites and the radio waves that are exchanged. So whatever you see on your TV, they are the one projecting that on your TV from where you are. And also whenever you hear in the radio, whatever you hear in the radio, they are the ones controlling these information, because we know that very easily communication can be a war tool, and it was used before as it back with Hitler, back with Stalin, and all the major dictators, okay, or presidents working for chaos. They used communication in order to achieve what they want to. Okay, so yeah, so of course you realize that there's a link with the presidents, the star that you see on TV, the army, and all of that jazz, and you'll understand better throughout this video. And I also have a course that you can purchase, but you can also watch it for free on YouTube. It's titled Babylon and Hidden Side, where I do explain the symbolism behind the visual that we consume on a daily. And I do explain also the wordplay they use when conveying a message, when they are giving a message, okay. And finally, on my website, jcemilboutique.com, I do have also music that you can purchase. So music that you can purchase. If you're not someone who uses Spotify, Apple Music, well, that's a good way to consume music. So you can purchase it. You have the MP3. You do whatever you want with it. You store it in whatever this device that you want. So, okay, enjoy this video.
American Oxygen. This is the new America.
911, what's your emergency?
America.
Martin Luther King was shot and was killed tonight.
Okay, so welcome back to this web series, American Oxygen. So American Oxygen was performed by Rihanna Robin Fenty, also known as Bad Gal Riri, born in Barbados, okay? So she was born in 1988, Barbados, and the music video that I'm reviewing, which is American Oxygen, was inspired, or at least it comes from this music born in USA, and this one was released in 1984. So I think it's interesting because the 88 appears again. So Rihanna was born in 1988, and then not 88.4, okay, was Born in the USA, performed by Bruce Springsteen. And I think teen is important. Teen, okay, the word teen. We'll see further why. Okay. So, Rihanna is an international so-called superstar. She has 8 studio albums. So the first being Music of the Sun. So she gives worship to Lucifer, sun god, also known as Remphan or the star of Remphan. Then second album, A Girl Like Me. Then the third, Rated R. And in the cover, it's written Good Girl Gone Bad. Okay. And this looks like a sort of like a snake for some reason. Anyway. Then we have the R album where she's hiding one of her eye. And the R is actually an occult symbol. I don't know exactly what it means, but it's an occult symbol. Then she had Loud Music. Okay. Then for her 5th album, where she had also the red hair and the red lip. Then she has for the 6th album, Talk That Talk. So the serpent language, she has her tongue out and we know what it means. Then we also see the R. Then here is the 7th album, Unapologetic. So this is the music album where she is depicting Liber, the spirit of Liber, the liberty status, for having like the right breast uncovered. And then finally her 8th album is titled Anti for Antichrist, and it was released in 2016. Okay, so let's recap. So today's video is titled Black Star. So I do have a theme verse that I would like to introduce here. So Ephesians 6:12 says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." So today's video is about the black star. And the black star, when we say black, it has nothing to do with the skin color per se, but instead it has to do with dark energy. Just like back in Genesis, when God says, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the earth. So then, we also referenced the movie in 19 Day Live, which was released in 1988. So even Basquiat, who's known to be a Puerto Rican and Haitian artist, one of his paintings, he was depicting one of these dark energy or demon all throughout his painting, his work in general. Then we've also seen the same dark energy in this series or TV series titled, The Fold. No, wait. What's the name of that thing again? Yeah, Darkwing Duck. Okay, the duck, Darkwing. Okay. So it has to do with dominion, and they're using communication in order to achieve it. So, we've also spoken about the clown, okay? Clown, the role play, the fake Jews, knowing that they're not Jews, but instead they're of the synagogue of Satan. The Romans and the Egyptian being one. The Air Force. The deception of the 5 continents. And here is the first Vogue cover. So fashion is a very important key element in this presentation. So this was published. First, Anna Wintour's US Vogue cover was published in November 1988. 88 comes back again. And the model featured was Michaela Bercu. And she was wearing a Christian La Croix. So Christian, so Christ, Christian. Maintenant La Croix, so the cross, okay, the sacrifice of Jesus. Couture jacket with a stone washed Guess jeans. So the Guess jeans. So guess what's between the 2 legs, okay? So I also do have a presentation on my website, titled The Wordplay of the Fashion Brand Guess. Okay, in the Truth blog. Okay, so the black star. So when we think of the black star, it's an error to think about the skin color, but instead we are talking about the spirit, okay? Let's not walk by sight, but by faith, okay? And God asked his children to test the spirit. So of course, you know that the real Jews are in the Caribbean, okay? Haiti per se. And then when we talk about the indigènes, the First Nation, the Israelites, Israelite, the elite, okay, the chosen nation of God. So they are black. But what happened is that when they got live, they washed the image of what it means to be black, okay? They like Satan twisted it. So now we have the blonde with the blue eyes. And we know what happened with Hitler when he said that the real nation or the true, the pure race was being blonde with blue eyes, okay? So it was in reference with God choosing the real Israelites as his people. If you read the book Song of Songs, the first chapter, that should tell you something. And also, if you read the description of God when they had the vision back in the Old Testament and back in the New Testament, okay? Yeah. So Beyonce, so it doesn't also have to do with the skin color, but even the gender. So now, not only they're presenting you a like the opposite of the traits of a black Jew. So think of the nose, the very big lips. But also they're not presenting you truly a woman, but instead a trans or whatever that means, okay? Their definition of what a man is, what human life should be. We know that the creation of man, the Antichrist, was back in the days of Noah, when God flooded the earth because the fallen angels were making babies with the earthy women, okay? So this was an abomination to God. So it created Nephilim. And the Nephilim would be the part of the prosperity of the serpent, okay? If we go back to Eden. Okay. So let's see. So we also spoke about the clown, okay, versus clone. What is a clown? What is a clone? Okay, clown, clone. So role play is important, okay? And also in this video, the bust and the private part of the woman is important. So Grace Jones, okay, was used as the blueprint for artists like Lady Gaga, Rihanna, and more, which they all conformed to her image, okay? So she was like the model, she was the clown, she was the joker, she was the molded image of what a black woman is. And of course, this image was molded by Andy Warhol and Jean-Michel Basquiat. So see the the N-word, the bust is covered. Then you see the private part of the woman. Then you see the eyes, the lustful eye, okay? And then you also see the man, which looks like to be in a spiral. And then you see the two persona. So Warhol and Basquiat, which is like yin yang. Okay, so of course Grace Jones was a Jamaican. And she was also known to be impersonated by both men and women. She had a lot of clone, from what she said. So she shows up. She's like a spectacle. She has a rebellious character. She's a savage. She was described as masculine, spontaneous, violent. Masculine. So we know of the masquerade ball, the drag queen race, okay? So it has nothing to do with sports, but instead it has to do with fashion. It has to do with giving glory to their god, their androgyne god. So fashion is really used as a tool for war, okay? Then are the bodies, okay? So these are the dolls that they need to dress. And we know that when you think of Barbie, it's like you think of the fashion. So you want to have like different clothing for the doll, you know? Different hairstyles, different accessories. So think of Mattel. And here it's interesting. Can aluminium save the planet? So save the planet, save the planet. I'm totally a different person when I'm blonde. So this represents the snake all over the body. Skims. So can't wait to see a new body. Think of Madame Tussauds Museum, the wax museum, that are probably international. So you have one in London, in California. You have one here in Montreal. Well, the name is different here. It's Grévin Museum. You also have the Barbie Museum here. Well, not museum, but expo. So this is the dark energy, the shadow. So Rick Owens seems to be the one sculpting this body. So he has a very architectural approach to fashion. And he uses a lot of sculpture. Okay, so these are, once again, the Magic Kingdom in Walt Disney. So all the presidents in wax figures, animated. So Dominion, everything is now internet. Okay, the wax figures. So the loss of the eye, television, deception, the role play. Who is who? Who's playing who? Mask, bodysuits, wigs, makeup, prosthetic, name it. Filters. Okay, so Zena Shrek, La Veille, who plays the role of Taylor Swift, or Taylor Swift playing the role of Zena Shrek. So are these machines? Are these clones? What type of clones? Are these impersonator? Are these actors? Are these demons possessing these bodies? But it all has to do with synchrony and sound. Okay, movement. Synchrony sounds to give an illusion that the doll is alive. Okay. So Zena Shrek, so she's the daughter of Nicolas Shrek, who started the Church of Satan. So she was she founded Radio Werewolf in Los Angeles with her husband, Nicolas Shrek. Oh, her father is Anton LaVey, I'm sorry, yes. So Nicolas Shrek was a vocal, so I guess he was doing magic. So he was also American, based in Berlin. Okay, so he was a practitioner of black magic. So they invented the werewolf order, so TWO. Once again, 1988, okay, 1988 until 1999. It was led with Zena Shrek. So they were doing Sonic Magic Collective. So of course, daughter, Church of Satan. So this is important, the Baphomet logo, or at least the Church of Satan logo. This is the author. This is a cheetah print. Okay, the cheetah print is really important, but I'll talk about it later. They use a lot of this print during the sacrifices when they give authors, but the body as an author. So once again, Anton LaVey, okay, Zina's father, he was also doing rituals with Jane Mansfield, and Jane Mansfield was the double of Marilyn Monroe. So see the blonde hair, the blonde Barbie, the dolls, okay? And the doll, the practice of the doll was generally used in pagan practices for magic purposes. Okay, it was like a representation of someone, and I guess they would put the spirit in that doll. Okay, the spirit of the person in that doll. So here she is. So this is Marilyn Monroe as a wax. Okay, and it says gentlemen prefer blonde. So there's definitely something with the blonde thing. So this is Marilyn and James Mansfield in New York. New York, very key place in 1955. And Harmony, okay, sex robot. Okay, so think about it. So let's talk about the US dream, okay, the American dream. So US refers to the prosperity of the serpent, but God gave dominion to men which are God's image, okay, made of the dust of the earth. And the androgen, or the indigène, I should say, the Israelites were made of the ground of Israel, okay, because men, at least men made in God's image, we are formed from the soil, okay. So the American dream is sold as materialism, such as a big house, a big family, a luxurious car, but to Satan, the real prize is our body made in God's image. So think of Saturnalia, okay, Christmas, Saturnalia, which we call Christmas today. So Xmas, okay, X like extermination, but anyway. So they would, like, the slaves are the Israelites, okay, the so-called black, the First Nation. So they would make them believe that the prize is the material thing, but in reality, Satan, or at least during Saturnalia, the masters own their body, you know. So Satan is the master of these people. So whatever Satan gives you, you're a loser because Satan is your master. You get what I'm saying? So liber, sold as liberty, is the ritual demon used to fill people's empty vessel with unclean spirits as a means to lead them to self-destruction, which we call Shiva, okay? Okay, so the black star. So black means, doesn't mean, it has nothing to do with skin color, okay? It's instead, we're talking about the spirit animating the thing. And the star, we're not talking about the star in heaven. Like the star, when God was born, a star appeared at the east, if I believe. But here we're talking about the fallen stars, okay? The stars of the Walk of Fame, printed on the ground, because these are fallen angels who probably made babies with earthly women, okay? So we are fighting not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. And that's why the arm that God gives us is prayer, okay? You can only fight spiritual thing with spiritual thing, which is prayer. And God is an invisible God. So of course, so Julius Caesar, Rome, okay? So the hat that Rihanna is wearing here, she was wearing at the Met Gala. So she represents the Pope. She represents Rome, okay? In New York, because her dream was to be in New York. Okay, so this is her performance she did for the Oscars. Lift Me Up, okay? So you see here in the back, that looks exactly like the building. C'est l'Odyssée, je pense. I can't remember exactly, but l'Odyssée. And this is live. So think the movie Day Live, okay, 1988. So ABC channels. So these are the news channels. And we know that New York represents Athens, since the emblem of New York is the Statue of Liberty, which is Athens, okay? And liber, so the spirit of lust, okay? Santeria. So the news channels become very important because the Bible says that in Athens they are stuck to the news. That's how they speak. They speak code through the news. And even the stars, that when I say star, we talk about Rihanna, we talk about Beyonce, we talk about even Mona Lisa, Julius Caesar. These are so-called stars because their faces is part of the wickedness culture, the American culture, let's say. But when we say that we're following astrology, when people say that they're following astrology, in reality, they're following these stars because they use the image, the anti-Christ image of these graven image, okay, in order to speak real-time events, okay, Bible events, prophecies, and etc. Okay, so let's read Acts 7:42-43 says, "But God turned away from them and gave them over to worship of the hosts of heaven, as it is written in the book of the prophets. Did you bring me sacrifices and offering 40 years in the wilderness, O house of Israel? You also took up the tabernacle of Moloch and the star of your god Remphan, images which you made to worship, and I will carry you away beyond Babylon." Okay, so I do have a web series here on YouTube titled Babylon. You can either have access to it by going through the playlist, or you can purchase it via my website, jessieemileboutique.com. Okay, so here God is saying that Israel is in idolatry and in adultery because they have now been worshipping the star of the god Remphan in Babylon, okay? So all these images made up from the tabernacle of Moloch, the church of Satan. And when we say Remphan, who is the god Remphan? Well, it's Ra, Remphan, the sun god, an Egyptian god, okay? The bird or the full version, let's say, of Satan. Okay, so here, this is the American dream. We dead for a nickel and a dime, turning into an empire. Whoa, whoa. So this is the American dream. So the reference, Black Power movements, Stonewall. So I don't understand why one have like the right hand over and the other have the left. Okay, I don't understand why. But it reminds me of also the Black Lives. It was the exact same hand gesture, and also it's in reference to the Olympians because they seems to be in the court, okay? And we know that the sports from the game system of America was made to give glory to their god, which is Santeria, Santa Claus, Satan. Okay, so going back to the Black Panther Party, was found in 1966 in Oakland, California. It is they're known for their revolutionary aesthetic, especially in fashion. Black and white fits, leather jackets, black shades, afro hair, you know. So it's like, and we all know that when we're part of a group that is, you know, the fashion is on, you kind of feel powerful, okay? But the trap is you better know what this thing is really about, okay? Because deception is real. Okay, so this is the Black Panther movement. So it also relates to Stonewall, the riots that happened in 1969. So see here, drag is out in the open. Drag, think of the dragon, and think of the symbol of China, which is the dragon. And think from Genesis, the serpent who transformed into a dragon when we read until Apocalypse. Okay, so many heads are together. So we have Rome, we have the Egyptian, and we have Greeks and other nations. Phoenicians too. So once again, the same hand gesture. And this is the same hand gesture as the Liber, you know, the Statue of Liberty. Liber, Rome, Athens, Santeria. She has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 horns. And think of the leaf of marijuana, Mary Jane. And the Statue of Liberty is also a representation of Virgin Mary. It's just like another virgin. A so-called Virgin Mary. Okay, so once again, also the riots, okay, Stonewall, it happened during, it was like a Pride Day, Liber, gay liber, you know, liberty. So it started in June, okay, so the 6th month in Roman time. In 1970 in New York, Los Angeles, and Chicago, so these are the key cities. It is also referred to as the Rainbow Children. So see here, you see drugs, and think of the BLM. It's around the BLM, okay, are this crisis, okay, the 19 chaos that drugs was legalized, okay, Mary Jane was legalized in major cities, just like Montreal here. Okay, so it's not a coincidence. It's more of like a social trap. Okay, let's continue. So, and we found out also that BLM had nothing to do with BLM like we thought of it, but more it has to do with dark matter, okay, with other stuff. And we know where the money went, okay. If you've heard the news, the money went mostly for organization like the LGBTQ, okay. So in reality, it had nothing to do with anyway. Okay, so once again, the logo here, you see it. This is Venus, okay. This is Inter. It reminds me of Coco Chanel too. It may be an eclipse, okay. It looks like an 8 too, 88, 1988. So see, you see it here. So dark matter. So see, okay. So this is the logo reverse. So you have the 2 rings here. Then you have in the one in the black, because I made an effect which is like a reverse effect of colors, and the one in the middle turned out black, okay. So this is, I guess, the dark matter that we talk about, okay, which combines both, okay, which connects the 2 8s. Sorry. So the Olympic logo represents the 5 Olympic spirits, the 5 principalities, the 5 continents, the 5 stars, Santeria, Satan, Saturn, Satan, Santa Claus, etc. So the Olympic was introduced by Baron Pierre de Coubertin. I think the ceremony was held in 1912 in Paris, a day before World War I. Okay. So now the question you should ask yourself is, what is really World War I about? What are these wars about? So I spoke about it. World War I, think of the war under the sea. Then World War II on the land, or World War II could be the sky, and then 3 would be the land. And the land meaning the body, okay, the human body, because we're made of the ground. Okay, so, and we know that in the days of Noah, well, at least what the Bible says, there are 3 continents. So truly, the thing people don't know is that the 5 continents is not a physical fact, but more of a cultural invention. So this is relates also to the symbol, okay, reverse. So the black being Africa. And what's interesting is that even Africa, when you look at the old map, Africa was not shaped like this, but instead it was shorter. Okay, this part did not exist. So South Africa did not exist. And think of also the artificial land or artificial island that they're making, just like Dubai, okay? Don't you think it has a lot of consequences? That means, is that like real earth? And the trees, are these real trees, you know? So you gotta ask yourself. Okay, so this is also the LGBTQ flag, okay? The pink and the blue. And the middle represents both being united. The rainbow colors. So once again, and what's interesting is that Rihanna, so we know that the US, the riots that happened in New York, okay, the riots for the Stonewall. So now Rihanna has a child that was born in September, well, around 2023, and her newborn son was named Riot Rose. And of course, the baby is wrapped into the LGBTQ plus colors. I did a video on this transillusion, where I explained the colors more in depth. And Purple Rain. So this is maybe an industry baby. What do you think? And RZA, he was named after a rapper in New York, part of the Wu-Tang Clan. And even A$AP Rocky, who's not necessarily a male, but more of a male on pills, if you catch my drift. And even Rihanna saying that she is not a she. Oh my God, this is crazy. So now you're asking yourself, who are these babies? Okay, because this is literally deception. This is not a family. These are actors, and this is deception. So now you're asking yourself, who are these babies? Okay, so let's talk about this ritual. So we'll answer the question. So this is from Beyoncé Chata Wale Major. This is the Already music video that was released in 2019 from The Lion King, The Gift that premiered on Disney Plus in 2020 during the BLM. So see the blue and the red. Then you have the rings, okay? The rings that you see in the logos, the rings. And think of the Olympic, okay? Think of sports. Okay, think of body. And remember, during the Olympics, now the debate is men competing with women. But what do you think they mean by that? Men competing with women, okay? Men competing with women. What does that mean? Okay, so what's interesting here? So the title of this video is Black Star. So in this Chata music video, well, the Already music video from The Lion King, The Gift, here Beyonce has the 5 stars on her head. And that's important, okay? 5 star. I'm a 5 star. I'm a 5 star. Okay, and she has the rings. She's wearing a black and white. And she has these braids. Beyoncé depicting Shiva, destruction, also known as Venus, during her Renaissance tour, right after this album, the Lion King album, or Black is King album. So here she's depicting the Prince of Power of Air, destruction, Shiva. And here, notice the bust area is covered. But in the original Venus, the right breast is uncovered. So just keep that in mind. Because Liber, generally he has his right breast uncovered. And the statue of Marie-Louise in Haiti is depicted as such. Even the Sphinx is depicted as such. There is also a painting by Maryse Benoit, okay, Le Portrait d'une Négresse. She is depicted once again with her breasts uncovered. So yes, destruction, but destruction of the body, okay? So within the human body, so they're using sound, music, okay? and the lust of the human eye in order to inhabit people's body via music. They're using sound. So think of the platforms like Spotify, think of Apple Music. Why do you think music is so popular? Okay, so they're using sound in order to inhabit people's body. People who are without the Holy Spirit, because if you have the Holy Spirit, then you're the Holy Spirit temple. Okay, and Satan cannot inhabit you, but these demons can influence you. Okay, but for those who are without the Holy Spirit, yes, demons can inhabit you. So see the rings, then you see the flower of life in the middle. Okay, so the Vitruvian Man by Leonardo da Vinci. Vitruvian Man. So this is one Julius Caesar. So see the same head. That also looks like the Medusa head, Versace head, Destruction head. And see this, the bird, okay, the foal of the air. Okay, so there's geometry that is involved. The head, the sculpture made of hand of man, okay, molded image, just like when the Israelites molded the calf, the golden calf in the desert. So once again, Versace, this is the same head, destruction, but Versace, some see a lion's head, some see the Medusa head, Venus also head, Bob Marley head, okay, with the dreads, okay. It's also, the logo is generally gold. So the golden world, the golden globe, gold, and it will also reflect in the air. So most of Versace, when you think of Versace, at least the faces of Versace have blonde hair, generally. So Beyonce, born in Texas in 1981. So she kept this image of blonde hair all throughout her career from the beginning, okay? We haven't seen her with, she had blonde hair since the beginning. It's just that now I think it's a blonde platine, okay? More like a white color, but she has kept the blonde hair. So here, this is her performing at the Super Bowl in 2016. So notice here, she has an X on her chest. An X, think of the chromosome X or extermination of the Jewish, okay? Think of Hitler, the blonde hair. They say that the blonde people with blue eyes, and think of blue ivy. There's a lot of symbolism, okay, which I'm not gonna get into, but what's also interesting, she's wearing a letter, okay, letter, and that gives her this image of like being in command, okay. And I do have a music video review, Formation. And Beyonce, we know that she's not what we think she is. So boy once, Beyonce, Queen B, beyond others, Cowboy Carter. So if she was not a boy, why can't we say cowgirl? There's a term that say cowgirl. But what's interesting is that in the real talk show, they said once again, they said one time, who is the Beyonce of men? Because they were like saying that us female, we have like a role model, which is Beyonce, which is a lie. And they then answered the question saying, Beyonce is the Beyonce of men. Duh. If you catch the drift.
Twitter user Corey Lancaster was curious if there was a single man out there who could live up to the single lady singer, tweeting out the question, who is the Beyonce of men? And at the real, Wan Van dropped the mic with his answer saying, Beyonce is the Beyonce of men. Duh.
I agree with that.
I love that.
I agree with that. That's great. That's awesome.
Ladies.
And her fans are called Beehive. Literally like showing the image of Medusa in different ways. So the golden, blonde hair, Medusa. So you can think of dreadlocks too. That looks sometimes like, that can look like Medusa head. I've introduced the Claremont twins. So the cowboy hat, okay. Then once again, Future, also with the blonde hair. And now I think his hair is totally blonde, okay? And what's interesting in this cover, so it was in the cover of Rolling Stone magazine. Future is actually a Haitian, okay? He's Haitian American. So I think I need to mention that. So here, Samantha B, lol, Late Night Revenge. So just see the subliminals, okay? Can New York City survive global warming? So New York City is a key place. And that reminds me of this Economist magazine that was released in 2012, okay? So see here. So you have like, this is literally the magazine. So let's depict this, okay? So you have the fork, okay? The trident, okay? Trident. Climate change, okay? Satan at the command, okay? Satan at the command. Then you have the X, see X. That reminds me of, you know, he's singing. Then Satan behind the computer, Hacker Center. Then the Euro. Then who do you have? Obama, Pride. So Obama is the first gay president. He's married to Michael. Then see the sins, envy, okay, Pride month, 6 month, June, okay, sloth, gluttony, bankers, labor or liquor, I don't know. And if you have seen the previous episode roleplay, so see Future is really a character, okay? He's a character. And here it's interesting, hip hop hit machine. So this is probably a machine that you are looking at. Okay, so let's go back to the Claremont twins. So the Claremont twins, they're heavily marketed as Haitian Jamaican, okay? Every time they write an article about the Claremont twins, they have to put this emphasis that they're Haitian Jamaican. So I thought it was interesting because, you know, the blueprint, Grace Jones was Jamaican. And also, even in the music video Wow 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 Thoughts by Rihanna, it was a shot in Florida, in Little Haiti. Beyonce, she has a part of Louisiana Creole, so she is related to Creole. Creole means les rejetons, the tribe of Judah. But instead, they're selling the image of Athena. This is not an Israelite. Okay, they say they're Jews, but they're of the synagogue of Satan. So they dress up as black, the black face. They give you the illusion of blackness. Okay, and some are, but the reason why also they're selling this image of being Haitian or Jamaican is because they're targeting the Haitian and the Jamaican. Okay, so who are the real Jews? So this is the Lion King. This is the logo of the Lion King. This is literally the yin and yang logo, okay? But they use 2 lions. So it was released in 2019 for the Lion King, the Gift album, performed by Beyonce. And it was made for a Disney movie remake of the Lion King. So this is from the album titled Black is King. So when she says black, it's not about being black, skin black, but instead it's being part of the darkness. Okay, demons, principalities, dark spirits, unclean spirits. So this was for the Lion King. So we know that the tribe of Judah, their emblem is the lion. Okay, but also there's a verse that says that the devil is like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. Okay, so of course it represents Mars, okay? So this photo of the Economist is literally hell, okay? It represents March. So let's read about this. Oh, Venus. Or Mars, maybe? I don't know. So let's read about it, okay? Okay, so Venus represents Isis or Shiva destruction. Venus is described as a hellish from observation. The second planet from Lucifer, the so-called sun, known as the hottest and brightest planet of the solar system, Lucifer's system. So we know that the solar system is shaped as in 6, okay? So once again, so Uzi is a compact automatic submachine designed by anti-Israeli officer. It's called the Uzi Gal after the Arab-Israeli war around 1948. So Arab-Israeli, and think of Rihanna depicting ISIS, okay? So this was Lil Uzi performing at the 2003 Rolling Loud in Los Angeles. And see this bright like light, this hellish planet. Okay, that's exactly Venus. And Venus, think of the hair of Ice Spice, lol. So this symbol here, you see, it's the subliminal. It's as if she's rolling a paper, but at the same time, it looks like her shirt. And then see the V symbol here. Okay, so the guest part. Then here she is on Teen Vogue because they're targeting the teen, just like Spring Teen in the beginning, like I mentioned, from Born in USA. So Ice Spice, it's literally red and blue, okay, just like the ring in the music video of Beyonce for The Lion King. And we know that Ice Spice, she's known to roar, like she in her like music. So she's on a pedestal. She's in high places. So see the mountains. Okay. She really looks like a molded image, like a graven image, which she is. Okay. And she also plays the role of Ella May, or Ella May plays the role of Ice Spice. And ascending in reference to the sun. So she was first known for her Munch music that made her so-called famous. And it was released on World Star Hip Hop in August 10 in 2020.
Stop playing with them, Ryan. You thought I was feeling you? I got Munch.
So Munch refers to the performance of oral sex on a female organ. So yeah, this is literally they're shooting the music video, and notice here the pentagram, okay, the pentagon, the reverse star, the black star. So let's talk about it. So what is the black star? So what is a star first? Okay, so between 1890 and 1940, the gay culture emerged in New York. So New York, key place. So the gays in New York organized male beauty pageants in Coney Island. So Coney Island was known as the place for spectacle. They had even circus show there. They had a lot of going on. And in Coney Island, a drag balls in Harlem. Okay, Harlem. So we know that A$AP Rocky is from Harlem. Rihanna her dream was to be in New York. Island. Okay, it's an island. I just wonder if Coney Island is a artificial island. I would have to make a research on that. Okay, so Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera are often credited with the starting of the riots. So once again, riots, and think of Rihanna's baby, Rose riots, which lasted 6 days. Of course, 6 days. So we know that in the 6th day, God formed man in his image from the dust. And the same reason, and the reason why God flooded the earth was because the prosperity of the serpent, or the abomination, okay? The woman carrying the angels' babies, which made Nephilim. So let's see, what is a star? So star, here it says street transvestite action revolutionary. Okay, yeah. So provided food for its resident, a rotting group of blah blah, referred to Star House Kids. So kids, very important. The house was decorated with posters, political prisoners, including Angela Davis. There were no membership rolls as at a formal shelter. Drug use was also common. So drug, very important. Particularly alcohol, cocaine, heroin, and methadone. So every time this movement starts, there's always an impact in the society. Drugs enters the neighborhoods. or gets legalized. Star members continue to raise money through begging, sex work, and thief, as well as bake sale. And I think sex work is really important because most people of this group are generally doing a lot of street sex work. Okay. Many residents of the house are Latinos and practice a distinctive form of Santeria. And we know that Santeria, Satan, okay? Satan, Santa Claus, however you want to call it. So Saint Barbara, who was envisioned as the patron saint of homosexuality, as well as Our Lady of Charity, Saint Michael. So think of Rihanna coming from Saint Michael. And think of Obama's husband, Michael, that we call Michel, okay? And Saint Martha, envision, okay, Saint Transformation. In their case, they're not talking about the Holy Spirit taking your body, but instead demons possessing your body and proceeding to sex reassignment. Rivera set up an altar to Saint Barbara in the house where residents could pay tribute to her before going out. Johnson, so altar, so this is literally satanic. It's written like as if it is nothing, but yeah, demon altar. Johnson also brought several puppies to live here. Le sang de Jésus. So Star House active, Star advocate prison reform. So it has to do a lot with prison, gay, violence, drugs, just like the BLM and the Black Panther movement and all these movements. Of course, Beyonce seems to be like the face of the Renaissance, you know, the Lion King. So she's very often wearing corset or outfits that shows the middle part, you know. How can I say that? Ballerina outfits still? Sort of. Okay, so it has the shape of the Church of Satan logo. Okay, the Baphomet logo. See the triangle? So the shoulders would be like the earring, les cornes, the horns. And then the bottom would be literally the V, okay? The mouth. And see the reversed triangle, okay, for the V, Venus, because Venus has her breast and her vulve redone. So this is Beyonce. This is during Renaissance tour, blonde hair. Then this is her during Formation tour in 2016, blonde hair with braids. This is her during Mrs. Carter in 2014. Yeah, and the Church of Satan, okay, their slogan is "Do what thy will." And I think Guess, I do have a presentation on Guess. If you go to my website, if you access to the blog, Truth Blog, so you'll see what the guess means. It's literally guess what's between the two legs, okay? And that's why these celebrities often wear things like this. It's to show you that they are like women because they don't have like the, you know, but they literally just tape their D above. Okay, so the blonde hair. So of course I do have to introduce the blondes. Okay, so these are designers. So see here the snake, okay, attire. And this snake attire we've seen it on Prince, on Rihanna, most of like big celebrities, Michael Jackson. So once again, the snake attire here, okay, but made it fashion. The 40 inches blonde wig, okay, so two men, a couple. So the blonde's designer on Donald Trump's American How to Resist Through Fashion. So this is a Teen Vogue article that I will read. Okay, so this is, and just notice here the X. There's an X. There's also the face of the Baphomet. So you see the horns here. Okay, so the shape is really important, okay? And the blondes have made costumes for Beyonce and very important celebrities. Okay, so let's read. Inspired by forthcoming film The Mummy. Designs included embellished corsets, crystal-adorned catsuits, loads of feathers, and curve-hanging silhouettes, okay? because these are men and they need to have like the silhouette of a woman. The better for a strong body positive woman to harm herself with, of course. And when Philip Blount took his final bow, as the pearl mummy with waist-long hair and statement-making lips, it solidified what the blondes and fashion should truly be about. A labelless celebration of self-expression. It was quite a declaration in the New World Order, from a Cuban and Puerto Rican design couple who continue to smash oppressive gender and societal norms. After their explosive fashion show, we talk about the blondes, about resistance, female empowerment, inclusivity, and more. So I think it's really interesting to see how the people talking about female empowerment are literally men disguised as women. So what are we following truly? And maybe that's the reason why in today's society, women are acting like men and men are acting like female. Because if you're a man and your model is Future, well, Future is probably a woman. And if you're a woman and your model is Beyonce, well, Beyonce is probably a man. Okay. So Teen Vogue, it's important because they're targeting the teen, the young, the youth. Okay. So the blondes, so see the Claremont twins who walk for the blondes. So these are Jamaicans and Haitian models, let's say. I do think these were male, okay? I'm not sure, but... So this is them for the blondes on February 2019 for New York Fashion Week. So once again, New York. So see, they're wearing the... and then there's a dollar on the breast part or stars, okay? And think once again of Basquiat. Think of Grace Jones. Okay, Basquiat was also Haitian. Okay, so I think we'll stop here. And the sex work is really important here because I feel like most of these celebrities at some point are naked in front of TV. So they're literally doing sex work, but they're like selling it as being something glamorous when it's not. And the goal is really to have the first is like the sex robot. And sex robot, why is sex such a important topic? Well, it's because fornication. What do you think fornication is? Fornication is when you sleep with a fallen angel. This is fornication, okay? Fornication is when you sleep with a deity, with a demon in flesh. This is fornication. Flee fornication. And the woman who carries these Nephilims, these demons in their belly, they are called sirens. But I'll talk about it a little more in the next episodes, but for now let's leave it like that, okay? Okay, so we spoke about Venus, the prince of power of air. So when we think of black power, a black person, it has nothing to do with the complexion's color, but instead it has to do with the spirit animating the being. So within the human body, so sound is used as a form of witchcraft. So through the headphones, through the computer, through all these devices, the radio devices, the music that you hear, and you start to act just like the lyrics tells you to act, okay? And that's the reason why also most of young children looks exactly like their favorite rapper, favorite sport player, or favorite actor, and so on and so forth. Their favorite entertainer. There it is. So entertainment. Okay, so entertainments, you find the word entering. So what is entering? Well, it is that evil spirit. Okay, let's see. Okay, so of course, Leonardo da Vinci, the Vitruvian Man, the drawing that we know of. Then this is Julius Caesar on the left, a molded image of Julius Caesar. And here you see the Versace chaos face, okay, the Versace face. The same goes here. It's also represented, Beyonce represents the chaos face, the Versace face. One thing that I need to mention is that the Versace face is a representation of the androgen god, okay? So trans. So what is a trans? So people will automatically think of, well, a child saying that they're neither man nor female, or someone who has made the operation. Trance also is a spirit inhabiting a body, okay? So now they become one, okay? So the spirit and the body become one, or the person and the spirit becomes one. It's like the person is an altar, okay? Just like us believers in Jesus Christ, we are the temple of the Holy Spirit. Well, they are the temple of unclean spirits, or Satan himself. So the X. So the Claremont twins. Who are the Claremont twins? Okay, androgen god. They are giving glory to their androgen god. So the Medusa head, they have braids. Then also the same goes with Future. So he has the Medusa head with the dreads. Now he has it all blonde. And I believe during the last Met Gala, he was introduced with no braids, but blonde hair. Okay, very short blonde hair. And remember, please, they're giving glory to their androgen god, okay? And that reminds me of the movie Metropolis, where they said, at some point, people won't be able to differentiate machine from human. So see, hip-hop hit machine. Is it subliminals? And stripper, because also prostitution is when you give your body to demons. And a lot of good so-called actors do this, okay? Just like Zendaya and Euphoria. So they give their body away to evil spirits so they can act and do their stuff, whatever it is that they do in entertainment, okay? Enter entertainment. Okay, so let's continue. Yeah, okay, so hell. Also in the movie Metropolis, okay, you see the statue, okay? The master of the city goes to a statue, and the statue is named Hell, so H-E-L. And basically, it's a dead, but they've like put the spirit in that statue, which looks like a head, okay? So this is literally a rough guide to hell. So this is The Economist, the double issue, published in 2012. And that reminds me, in 2012, we had there was this thing saying that, oh my God, it's the end of the world, 2012, the end of the world. Even a movie came out, okay, stating this. So what was really the meaning behind this movie? Nowadays, they speak through media, through entertainment, because this is entertainment. People think that, oh my God, I feel so sorry for the deception. And I laugh because I myself was deceived until God showed me what's really going on. Okay, so see the subliminal even in that image, rolling. Okay, so let's continue. So, this one is also one of the scenes, so the American Dream. So you see a child. I can't tell really if it's a boy or a girl. Well, it doesn't really matter because I feel like there's no pants. But anyway, so children, okay? So they're targeting the children. And why are they targeting the children? Well, because there are two prosperity here on earth. The prosperity of the serpent and the prosperity of God, okay? So Proverbs 22:6 says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart from it. So Satan also understands that to influence your child, to bring your child to confusion, and they're targeting the Jamaicans, the Haitians, the Caribbeans, okay? And if you have seen the movie They Live, 1988, there is a scene where there's a billboard, and when he put the glasses on, he see that the billboard says make babies in the Caribbean, something like this. Well, there's a reason behind it, because to see if a country is prosperous, look at if they're, you have to look for the children. Are they still procreating? Okay. And also, God is building the kingdom through us, his children, through the human form, the one that he formed into his likeness back in Eden with the earth. Okay. Okay, so the Claremont twins, once again, so they're Haitian, Jamaican, identical twins, Shannon and Shanae Claremont. So the Claremont got well known from the reality TV show Bad Girls Club. So this was a photo captured by Terry Richardson, so very explicit, implying incest. And these are probably characters, I don't know. And I feel like, yeah, most celebrities, okay, yeah. And also in these photos, what you have to notice is the black hair, okay? So they're promoting themselves with the blonde hair now. It's their image, but they used to have the black hair. And then later on, they went with the blonde hair. But so the Claremont twins got well known in the reality TV show Bad Girls Club. So what is Bad Girls Club? What is this club about? So Claremont twins, this is them in the Bad Girls Club. So notice in the back, the purple color, okay, which has to do with Prince, okay, Prince. Purple rain, purple rain. And here you notice the pentagon, okay, the 5 stars. And also the breast area is emphasized, just like here too. And then notice here, oxygen, the yellow color. Because they're giving glory to the sun god, okay. These are androgen. They're giving glory to their androgen god, in other words. Okay, so once again, go back to the video. So you see the 2 girls here. So chasing this American dream. And they promote themselves also as very money hungry, very promiscuous, competitive too. Because remember, America was built on a game system. Okay, so we all have this mindset of competition instead of love. Okay, the opposite of what God is asking. So the girls, so see here the reference siblings, okay? Now it reminds me of the music video Industry Baby by Lil Nas. And just with Lil Nas, think about it. Lil Nas, and then he became Lil Nas X. And just like also Twitter was Twitter like the bird. And then it changed to X. And then think of the chromosome, the logo of the chromosome, or at least the image of a chromosome is X. DMX, X, extermination. And even in this image, see the X, X Factor, the TV show X Factor. These are mascots, okay? And X also, when you decide to take the road of being a androgen or trans, automatically you won't be able to reproduce baby, okay? So it's as if instead of doing abortion, it's like now I'm destroying the reproductive system of God's people and I'm replacing it with fake babies, literally fake babies. And I think there's an article out with, there is an article out with Kanye West in 2003 with Carson, the journalist. And he said that there are fake children in his house hired to influence his kids into sexual stuff. Okay? So he was speaking subliminals. He was literally saying what they're doing, okay? Because God will always allow the enemy to tell you exactly what he is doing. Here, this is Beyonce. So see the colors. So you have the purple, the blue, the pink, okay, the androgen color, the purple. So we know that pink and blue also gives purple. So she's representing Venus. She has the 2 twins or 2 siblings here. Then this is her during her Renaissance tour in June. And June, the 6th month, think of Pride Month. So she paid homage to the painting of Venus. Okay. And then here the X in the breast area. Okay, X. Then here you have Liber. Okay, so the right breast uncovered here. The blonde wigs, but the men are bald in the back. But she has a blonde wig, and we know that Beyonce was boy once. Okay, so once again, birth Rihanna. When she was invited at the Oscars in 2003, she performed Lift Me Up, Hold Me Down. And think of The Lion King. In The Lion King, the movie, the Disney movie, there is a scene where the father, the Lion King, he's taking the child and he's lifting the child and everyone is applauding, you know. So this is literally, I believe this is what they're saying here. The Star of Ramfan, the Lion King, Chaos, okay. So this is when she was pregnant with her second child, Riot Rose. And Riot, think of war. So this is her and A$AP Rocky. So background purple. A$AP Rocky's wearing the chess colors, playing both sides. And she has the cyan color, which is the color of the Phoenicians, okay? The Phoenicians, purple and the light blue or the cyan blue is their colors. Here she's wearing all black, the leather gloves. Okay, so here is the androgyne god once again. So see, you have the siblings or maybe twins. So there's a girl, there's a boy, or the boy is the girl, we don't know. This is the androgyne god with the reverse cross. Then you see the pentagon here. Pentagon, which refers to Hollywood, to everything that you see on TV, okay? The cables, the technology behind, all comes from the Pentagon. And if you haven't watched In Babylon and Hidden Side, the 5th day, I do talk about the Pentagon and so on. Okay, so here is the tarot card of the devil. So see, you have the reverse star, the horns, okay? And even the outfit of Beyonce that I showed earlier, you see exactly the same shape. This is the shape that you often see. And this also looks like the ovaire of a woman, you know? Les ovaires of a woman. This is the shape of the ovaire. Then here you have Kylie and Kendall, two sister Jenners. And we know about their father, Bruce Jenner, who now was formerly known as Bruce Jenner, now known as Caitlyn Jenner. So the androgyne god. So this was during a season, one of their first season, I believe, in Keeping Up with the Kardashians. So you see the two kids playing in a prostitution pole, okay? So literally this scene, so of course this is inappropriate. Not only they're in front of TV, in front of a camera, and they're literally prostituting themselves in some sense, okay, with heels. They're like projecting this image, a hidden image of what the devil wants to do with your kid. Okay, so then this is them, Kendall and Kylie. Then this is them, older, okay, so completely different. See the mouth, the lips, especially then the body, of course. They transform, literally, okay? And the purple, then you have the sun god or Venus, I don't know. Okay, the two colors. And here you have the cyan, the Phoenician colors. Then here, I will also use the example of Willow and Jalen Smith, okay? Two siblings in the so-called public eye. So this was for Interview Magazine by Pharrell Williams. It was published in August 15 in 2016. So here, let's read about the tarot card meaning of the devil. So it has to do it related to desire, drug abuse, just like the riots, okay? Every black movement, suddenly drug becomes an issue, okay? And it's because we are dealing with spirits. Then evil, manipulation, physical abuse, okay? So we have a lot of in-house physical abuse in families, temptation, cruelty, humanly pleasure, the ability to influence others, okay? So the influence sometimes is good, but sometimes it is not. If that person is following God, okay, but if that person is following the devil, then of course the influence is not good. And addiction problems, destined for nothing positive, psychological torture, violence, and abuse. Okay. So this is also the same beast that we see here. Here it's depicted as the Baphomet, the emblem of the Church of Satan. So you notice here the two children, because he's targeting children, the prosperity of the serpent. Okay, so here you have like the symbol of two serpents and one un bâton milieu. And then here in the back you have the dome. Okay, dome for dominion. Okay, this is literally how the earth is built. Okay, with a dome on top and columns instead of that globe that they're selling. But in the architecture, it's like they're telling the truth, but in terms of visual television visuals, they're like fooling the people. Okay, so BBC News, so the ABC channel, once again the alphabet channels. News, so relate that to Athens. Okay, because they speak in codes through the news. So this was established in San Francisco in 1966 by Anton LaVey. Okay, so the father of the original Taylor Swift. So this is their logo, the pentagram. So their slogan is do what thy will. So instead of doing the will of God, you do your own will. Okay, and we know that the will of man leads to destruction, just like Eve in the garden. She was deceived by the devil through her ear. So she entertained the devil and the devil influenced her, to do evil. But the thing is, God gives you dominion over the serpent, over the beast. But if you want to be influenced by the devil, you will be. Okay, so it's really a choice. The pentagonal represents the 5-point program by Anton LaVey since 1988. So 1988, very important date, 88. So one, stratification. So now you have social classes. Then you have strict taxation of all churches. And that's why you know that today, nowadays, a lot of church think that they're following God's system, but instead it's a church heavily inspired by Rome, okay, the Roman Empire. Okay, they believe that they're following God, but instead they're following the devil. So that's why you have a lot of money problem in the church nowadays. So no tolerance for religious beliefs, okay? The development and production of artificial human companions. So think of Harmony, okay? Sex robot. Think of presidents' public faces, just like Rihanna on the table of the famous exhibition. Think of Future, the hip-hop machine. And I don't know if you know that, but there are a lot of digital model, and it's very common. A lot of brands, popular brands, do use digital models. And I believe in the contract, it's like how they put it is like they are able to use your likeness. When they ask you to give them the right to use your likeness, it means that they can use your face as a painting, whatever, they can represent you, your face, your identity, and do whatever they want, just like a clone, okay? Just like, example, think of Madame Tussauds exhibition, stuff like this. Okay, so the forbidden industry and economic godsend, which will allow everyone power over someone else. So the idea behind the human companion, the artificial human companion, is to give people this illusion of dominion over someone, okay? Owning someone, having someone as a slave. But in that case, you're dealing with a demon, which will allow, polite, sophisticated, technological, feasible slavery, and the most profitable industry since TV and the computer. So TV and the computer, so having like a artificial human companion surpasses the TV, surpasses the computer. And think about it. Why do you think now they're making it normal to speak to robots? When you call your bank, when you call your phone company, when you speak to your phone, Siri, stuff like this, This is what the 5 stars represents, okay? So the last point is the opportunity for everyone to live within a total environment of his or her own choice, which is a lie. They're really like programming this thing to make you believe that you are the God of your own life, which is a lie. It's either you serve the devil or you serve God. Okay, so going back to this androgyne god, the Baphomet, Okay, so notice here the two serpents. It looks like the logo that we use today for hospitals. But also we see the same logo here in this sculpture called the Creation of Man. So it was produced 4th century CE Roman. I don't even know what CE means, to be honest. But anyway, so la création de l'homme par Prométhée. Okay, so see here you have the doll, okay, the mannequin here. Then you also see the same symbol, okay, the androgyn god symbol. You see the chariots with the horses, the 3 horses. Then you see a lot of children. Yes, so this is exactly it, okay? So it's like a sarcophage. You know the Egyptian practice when, the pyramids or the sarcophage where they put the dead to conserve the body. And then because they do believe that they do have an afterlife, so that's why they believe in reincarnation. So they take the evil spirits and put it in a body. Of course, it reminds me of Balenciaga show. We see the same androgen god depicted here in red. Okay, so she has 2 babies covered with blood, red hair. And we know that Balenciaga means Baal is king in Latin. Okay, so also this show, they did an ad using the face of the Simpson. And think of Simpsons. Simp, you're a simp. Okay, think about it. So it was interesting because in this ad released on October 1st, 2021, it's on YouTube, I believe. It's on YouTube.
Balenciaga.
I know she's always wanted something of yours. So can you send me the cheapest thing with your label on it? A scarf, a piece of cloth with a price tag, even just a tag.
Send him the dress and the bill.
So they made me realize how the people buying these brands like Versace, Balenciaga, all part of the LVMH company, retail company. They're targeting the people, the everyday people. So instead you're buying expensive attire, garbage for a very expensive price.
So
do you think it's a good deal?
I don't care if this cost $88.
Do you think it's
Dad?
a good deal? Okay, so you're branding yourself with Satan's logo.
I know I have to return it. I just want to wear it once. Thanks for the dream. A little special.
This is the saddest thing I've ever heard. And I grew up in the Soviet Union. This is exactly the kind of woman I want to reach.
Okay, everything they do is for a reason. It's not just for the beauty of it, okay? Although they use beauty and aesthetics to appeal to the mass, it's way deeper than that.
Terrible. Worst model I've ever seen. I like it.
She likes it. Then I like it.
Then I like it too.
Then I love it. More than you are capable of loving anything.
I love it. I love
So the red coat, the red attire. So it's really a fantasy, a lie, be live, believe the lie. And this scene is in your fashion week. Then you see, of course, an astronaut, someone who's high. Then this looks like representing Kim Kardashian. So the mask, but the body is important. Then here you have the logo of Balenciaga, the 666. So now everyone is wearing black, and this is for a reason. And the people don't really look interested. It's like they're hired. I have a review of Balenciaga in my channel. However, it's in French, and it's titled The Cost of Idolatry Just for Fashion, something like this. Okay, so think now of a Disney child, okay, because they're targeting the kids, okay? So let me read this article by Hollywood Life, title Raven, a Disney Child. So not very many artists are world renowned by a single name, but ask anyone who watched TV in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, they for sure know the name Raven. Raven, think of the bird Raven, okay? It's not just like this actress. So Raven Simonet has appeared in some of most iconic TV shows of all time, including her own Disney Channel series, That's So Raven, Rich Run from 2003 to 2007. So 4 years. She currently stars in the spin-off series Raven's Home. She notably starred in Disney Channel original movies like Xenon and the Cheetah Girls, Cheetah, the Cheetah Prince, we'll go back to it, films. Before her Disney Channel, her days, she got her start as Olivia Kendall in The Cosby Show. And this article was written in 2020. So notice here, she's wearing a black, red and black, which stands for sacrifice. She's holding the Emmy Awards, which is related to television. So you see the wings looks like fallen, les éclairs. It looks like, how do we say it? Les orages, éclairs, falling from heaven, falling from grace. I don't know how. I don't have the words now. And she's, the statue is holding the globe, okay? And see her so-called parents are the ones bringing the child. Oh la la. Okay, so once again, let me continue. So as she grew up in the industry, she added titles like singer, producer, and talk show host to her resume. And proud activist of the LGBTQ community. From her big beginnings to the spotlight to her recent surprise wedding to Merinda Madey, here are highlights over the years of Raven's exciting life. This is her as a child. So she's holding a baby, okay, a doll. So there's a reason behind it. So Raven was used as the model to child star that we know of today. And bringing your child to these shows is a form of sacrifice. Because there's one thing, television, yes, has an impact on the viewer, but it also has an impact on the person producing the content and the person in front of the camera, okay? So it's like a sword, it's like a two-way sword. Okay, so once again, we see the baby, Frank Ocean, okay, holding the alien baby. So the baby is green hair. That reminds me of the Monster drink, 666. And it looks like the logo of Balenciaga here. Okay, the Monster drink. Okay, so the green... Wait, where do we see the green again? And it looks like a toxic green, you know what I mean? Like something that is toxic. Okay, so then we also have Industry Baby by Lil Nas. I believe changed to X. And see, he's in prison. Think of Metropolis, okay, the movie Metropolis. Well, so he's in prison, he's wearing pink. He has like the prostitute logo on his pants. Then the men's are wearing crop top. This was released in 2021. Then once again, the androgyne god worship. So Jeffree Star revealing the androgyne palette in 2017. So they're using the blondes, okay, the pink hair. So think of when the sun comes up and when the sun goes to sleep. So you have all of these colors from orange to pink to gold, okay, golden hour. Okay, so this was interesting, okay? So let me read this article about Glamour published on March 4, 2017 and March for Mars, okay? Mars Destruction, the planet. Okay, so makeup artist Jeffree Star is one of the internet beauty community's OG provocateur. He's not afraid to push the envelope when it comes to expressing himself. It always has to do with expression, but it's speaking his mind or using makeup to challenge gender norms. Okay, that's why they're so obsessed with sex and, because it has to do with procreation, a kingdom building. But it's also often led to influencer to a lot of controversy. The latest being accusation of putting a model in a blackface in an ad for his new eyeshadow palette Androgyny. So who's the androgyne model? It's here, Nikita Dragon. I can't remember. I think it's Dragon Nikita. But yeah, so dragon, okay? Dragon, rag, drag, of course, okay? Eden, serpent, to apocalypse, revelation, to dragon. So she's an Asian, I believe, person. And she had like a fond de teint, how can I say that? A makeup that is, of course, more heavier than her skin tone. Darker than her skin tone. Okay, so the star, the black star. So, of course, I do have to introduce Patrick from the TV anime SpongeBob. okay, from Bikini Bottom. Bikini Bottom. So what do you think is bikini about? The bikini, when it's really thin, that means that you have done the transformation and the D is has disappeared, or it is taped, you know, above at your waist.
Barbados, who's a friend of a friend, and she has a big dick across her stomach right here.
Wow.
It's huge, and it has veins and everything. It's terrible.
Okay, so of course I also have to introduce Patrick Starr, okay, a makeup so-called artist guru on YouTube. So the Black Star. Okay, I really hope that really made you think about what a black star is, black, and what a star is, okay? So, of course, there's the star of Jesus, okay? The truth, the light, the way to the Father. But there's also the black star, okay? The fallen angel, the Antichrist, and the kingdom of darkness. So, let's talk about David Bowie, who used music as a way to spell people, okay? He's a magician, a sonic music magician. So he did a music video titled Killing in Little Time from the Black Star album. So the verse goes like this, first one. So I staggered through this criminal rain. I'm not in love, no phony pain, creeping, think of the mot creeping, through his tidal wave, Tidal, the label of so-called Jay-Z. No warm embrace, just a lover's grave. This symphony using sound, this rage in me, okay, the rage, BLM, okay, the riot. I've got a handful of songs to sing, to sting your soul, to F you over this furious rain. And we're talking about the purple rain, the androgen rain, the Antichrist rain. I'm falling, man. I'm choking, man. I'm fading, man. I'm the broken line. I'm falling from grace. I'm choking, man, fading, just killing a little time. So using music to kill the mass. So this is the cover of the Black Star. It was released in January 2016 by Columbia Records. Christophe Colombo. Okay, well. So this album, Black Star, came out on January 8th for Bowie's 69th birthday. So it's like the 9 and the 6, okay, the meaning behind it. So birth and men, it's like 6 represents the creation of man in the truth, okay, when God created men the 6th day and then rested the 7th. But in their case, they're talking about the anti, and 9th being when you carry a kid for 9 months, okay, so yeah. That's the subliminal behind. So this album was recorded at the Magic Shop, okay? It's an independent recording studio located in Soho in New York. So New York once again. And this studio was established in 1988, once again, 1988 by Steve Rosenthal. So the songs in the album, 7 songs. So Black Star being the first. This is a pity she was a whore. Lazarus. So Lazarus, you know the story of Lazarus when he was resurrected by God. Sue, girls loves me, dollar days, I can give everything away. So of course I don't understand necessarily these symbols here, but of course there's a meaning behind. And then, okay, creep. So see here, he used in the verse, creep through this tidal wave. So think of Rihanna, and I believe most of her songs are in Tidal. It's like a streaming platform Jay-Z created, so-called Jay-Z. So this is Rihanna in London for her Fenty X Puma Creeper. Okay, it was in 2024. So now she has the blonde hair. She has the red lipstick. Okay, and see the Puma here is the panther, the representation of the panther. And we know that the Puma does not exist. It's like an artificial, it's like a gene mixed animal. Okay. Just like they do with their androgen god. Fenty, the creeper, this is the shoe. The shoe is called creeper. Fenty stands for fentanyl. This is the street language to talk about fentanyl, the drug, okay, the #1 drug killer. And we know that also George Floyd, during the I Can Breathe moment, if you look at the internet articles about the death, it was related to fentanyl, okay? He did an overdose of fentanyl. These stars that you see on TV, the celebrity and all this stuff, they're really used as like puppets to tell news and events and spiritual wars, okay? These are nothing more than graven images working for Satan. And God is using his Holy Spirit for these last days in order to reveal the truth behind these images, these deceptive images. Because I don't know what I'm looking at. Is it a male? Is it a female? Is it even a human? What is this? So, of course, Fenty hair, okay? And that reminds me, Grace Jones, she said during an interview that they were like, okay, so with your hair, what is it with your hair? And she was like, oh, one time I dyed my hair in blonde and then it all fell off. So she was bald and then she decided to leave her hair short so she can wear hats and everything. So think of Doja Cat, who did the same. Think of even the Yeezy season where they were all wearing like ripped clothes and they were bald, okay? Think of also the Metropolis movie, the scene where Moloch was absorbing the Israelites and they were all bald. Because hair is a sacred thing in the Bible. It represents the covering of the Holy Spirit for women. And the men with long hair is considered as a disgrace. And generally the men had bald head, and that represented the humility they have towards God because God is the head. So it's like there's a symbol, but there's a meaning behind it, okay? This image, God is using the image of hair in order to explain the order that he has established, okay? And that's why the devil is also using hair in order to destroy the foundation that God established. And he's selling an image that makes women look like men and makes men look like women. And at some point, men acting like women and women acting like men. And at some point, women not being able to even conceive or carrying Nephilim's baby. And even think of Beyonce, who came out with her line of Sacred. What do you think this is? Okay, so I think I'm going to stop here. Oh, and also, this was Rihanna, 36 years old, so 666. And it was in June 2024, June being the 6-month Pride month. And we know the verse says, the fall comes, no, pride precedes disgrace, something like this. And humility precedes elevation, something like this. Okay, so this is the black star. So please, let's not focus on the skin complexion, but instead, let's test the spirit who is behind. Okay? Let's test the spirit, because these are deceptive images. The eye of man is so deceptive.